This is Lauren.
This is Trey.
And this
is the Partnership Podcast. On this week's episode, we talk about frustration versus curiosity. Enjoy.
Good morning, baby.
Morning, babe.
How you doing?
Good.
How you feeling this week? How's your week been?
Really good. It's been such a fun week. I'm having highlights or lowlights?
Whatever. You can go into lowlights if you want.
Sure.
Just, yeah.
Feeling feelings of frustration with the baby where it was like I'm starting to kind of tally stuff. For her, where it was like when we were breaking down, we went on like a lovely like family vacation, like a staycation for 2 days with another family. And so it was, I'm starting to kind of add things where it's like she didn't really contribute, like as far as breaking down. She was in kind of a snotty mood. She wanted to go. Once we got home, I don't think she contributed as far as like getting stuff put away. She was in her room. She's leaving her things all over the house right now. And so it's starting to bug me.
I don't know if it helps, but do you know that she was menstruating and it was like her heaviest bleed day and she was in pain. She was in physical pain. Okay. And in tears. So she wasn't in just like a pissy mood.
What days?
Monday. I mean, the reason she was taking the bath on Tuesday when we like couldn't find her is her cramps were so bad. Okay. Tuesday morning, remember 5:30, she woke me up and we had to get a bath running for her. And then Wednesday when we were heading home, she was so miserable in the car. Like we were turning on heats for her. Like she was hurting. When she got home, she went right into bed.
I didn't know she was in pain. Yeah. It's probably good to ask those questions.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had said like, if that had been me, I would have wanted people to step in too. It's not an always thing. It was just and the baby's 13 and this is her 7th menstrual cycle, I think. I mean, just only 7. And so still just learning the ins and outs of that. That's why the 3-hour nap too. I didn't want to rat her out, but when she took that long nap, that's a period nap. Like you're just exhausted. You're just really exhausted. So she was trying to still have a really great time while really hormonal too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I didn't know that. How do I, like, what's a good way of asking?
What was I just going to say?
Probably like, hey, what's your fucking
problem? You knew
problems?
some of that, right?
I did, yeah. But it's like, it didn't equate.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask any questions.
Yeah.
And then I just like, okay, no big deal. And then it's like, so.
Yeah. And then her hamster had died right before we left too. And everything's amplified. And rightly so. You know how I feel about menstruation, that it's a time to kind of cleanse and release and let go. And it's awesome. But it does all feel amplified. The good thing is the good things feel really good. Like you're really happy when you're happy, and food tastes delicious and you're really hungry. But the sad things are really sad too. So, I'm glad we got to clarify that because now I don't think she's slacking. And also we've had her for lots and lots of days, so she's gonna go be with her daddy. And I think you can use the break. You two are so similar that I think you wear on each other in ways that is not the same experience of me with you two, because you are so alike. It's funny. Anyway, what's some highlights?
Oh, the trip was great. Yeah, it was so fun.
It was really fun.
What else? Yeah, like getting drunk in a pool. It's a big love language of mine.
Drunk. Let's be really clear, because we were with families. You were tipsy, sure.
I was drunk.
Okay.
Drunk in a pool.
I guess I was married to an alcoholic. When you say drunk, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if we've ever talked about this. Drunk to me is slurred speech just on the floor.
Oh,
so
I was tipsy
every
then.
time you say this and I correct you and then you say I'm drunk, inside of me, my whole body flips, because drunk is dangerous.
We have different verbiage for it. Fucked up for me would be drunk, where I don't want to get, okay, yeah. All right, yeah. Slurring words and like being a liability. No, I was not that.
Yes,
I was tipsy in
angry
a pool.
or like
drinking margs in a pool.
Yes.
Coors Lights in a pool.
You were completely appropriate to be around
Marco
teenagers.
Polo in a pool.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I take it back.
Yeah, you were buzzed. You were fun. You were not. I think I even know functioning alcoholics who are in families and get drunk, and it is miserable to be around them. That is not you.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me just clarify. And yeah, playing Marco Polo in a pool with kids was just so fun. It was like revisiting childhood fun. Yeah. We swam hard, all the adults, for hours and hours and hours. It was the best.
Yeah,
really
that was a big part of my childhood. Like the innocence part of Marco Polo, going to get candy, going to the movies. Yeah, that's how I spent my summers, on a mongoose, which is like a Huffy, like it's a cool bicycle. The guys will know.
I hope they do.
Let's get back to this one.
Let's do it. How are we doing these days? We had some interesting podcasts recently. Yeah. How are we doing relationally? How do you feel?
I've been really happy with you lately.
That was the funniest part about the podcast, is we had been happy prior to and post the podcast too, but both of them got really uncomfy. Yeah. How do you feel emotionally, intellectually, and sexually?
Good. Yeah. I mean, connected. I think that's the best way I can put it, where I feel very connected to you. And I'm busy with my stuff, and I think you're busy with yours, and we're in a healthy place. When we get out of sync, when we get in a unhealthy place, when something's a little sporadic, like our energies, it's very noticeable, and we don't shove it under the rug, or we don't say like it'll pass. We kind of go at it, and then we'll verbally talk about it, and then we'll actually come together, say like hugging or co-regulation. And I know when it's been solved is when we both kind of fall into each other's arms, and we giggle and we laugh and we tease, or we have sex, and then we can't remember what it was about. The podcast that we had like 2 weeks prior, I don't remember what it was about. It was probably about something, either a lack of communication, which I'm doing a lot more of these days. It's strange. And then, or some type of kind of misunderstanding that turns into something bigger than it is. Oh, yeah, it's when I went to, I thought I was being blamed for something versus curiosity. Yeah, that's right.
It's funny you say that, because earlier I was going to say, I think the thing that we do when we're missing each other, when our energies are not in sync, when something's happening, is we turn towards it with curiosity.
We try to.
Right. And when the problem is solved, it is usually solved through curiosity of, tell me more. Or, I mean, even just like you said earlier, with the baby, like I'm starting to tally, and I said, did you remember that she was menstruating? And, we learn new information. It changes the outcome. And to turn to something with curiosity and ask it questions and ask ourselves questions. And was my understanding of that situation the full truth, the full everything? It's beautiful.
And I didn't go to curiosity with the baby. I went to like, whatchamacallit, she's being lazy. Or it's like, I don't want to clean up, or I have to clean up after, and stuff like that. Instead of actually addressing it or asking questions either with you or with the baby, it's,
So many of us do that in some way, shape, or form all the time. I think some of it is our natural inclinations. I know yours is to kind of like, you are a person with a service-minded heart. And so you'll just kind of like pick up the slack. Like then you're doing her chores and these types of things. And so, you'll go to tally, I'll go to overfunctioning. It makes sense. But it's just so interesting how many things can be solved through curiosity. And honestly, I loved that you just said you've been doing a lot of like not communicating or whatever. Yeah, you did. Yesterday we were laughing at just a couple things that like you hadn't been invited in to use your powers of projection on, but you were solving problems that no one had asked you to solve. And in long-term partnerships, it just sometimes happens. We think we know the answer already. We think we know the other person's experience. And because of past like encounters with a similar thing, I'm like, well, but I know. I don't need to get curious. And I would say I work on that with my clients a lot of they'll tell me, I just want to have sex more. It's one of the most common things. I want it. And then we start to unravel things that they have believed about people who have more sex. And it's things like slut or irresponsible or lazy or all of these types of things. And I'm like, well, do you want to be that person? They're like, no. And I'm like, well, until we find a new definition of a person who has a healthy, thriving sexual experience inside of their long-term partnership, you're not going to want it more. And we have to be curious. We don't get there without a element of curiosity. And back up even more, I don't think curiosity can happen until we feel safe, which is the coolest thing in the world, is that I think those of us who have chosen wisely inside of partnership run into this felt safety of like, wait a second, I've never been this safe. Now there's an opportunity to get curious. Then it's that healing woundedness thing we talked about. Well, then shit, now I'm looking at deeper parts of myself that I have never looked at before. And that's spilling all this shit out on the table, which stirs up things. And I feel more dysregulated than I did before. And it's like, no, but we're just healing through curiosity.
Yeah. And we've spilled out things recently. Like 2024 has been big for us. We're in July of 2024. And so now that that's been spilled, I want to have the discipline, almost like a checklist, to go, let's go to curiosity and start asking questions. Now that you've done all this, and we don't need to spill all the fucking toys out, rearrange them again. We've done that. It's a nice rearrangement right now. It's organized. Now, Trey, do you have the discipline to go to curiosity versus what you default to? Yeah. Do you have the tools? Yes. Now, do you have the discipline to actually use the tools?
Yeah.
Yeah. To reroute, go down a different path versus frustration, versus bottling, versus I'm being taken advantage of, versus I'm being manipulated. Instead, what's up? And I could even ask the baby this, the 13-year-old this, because I don't want to come at her like I got come at.
Yeah.
Where it's just a massive amount of like aggression and frustration and yelling and screaming, because that's how I was talked to as a kid by my mother. And I don't come at her that way, but I will get, not nasty, but I will get stern. And like, why wasn't this done? Okay, you know better than this, or it's like, this has already been established, or I'll do that. Versus, I don't even need to come at her that way. Hey, B, just noticing like a lot of stuff is around, like noticing that like after you're making pasta, things are getting closed out. We've got 3 pairs of shoes around the living room. There's a pair of shoes in my car that are yours. Hey, anything going on? And also like, or she doesn't have to talk to me about her menstruation cycle because she may not be comfortable doing that. So I could just say like, hey, in your own time. Like, or I could ask like, hey, is energy, because I noticed her energy was low, but I didn't ask any fucking questions. So that's on me. So like, I can do a better job of going to curiosity.
I wonder if our "how can I support you" thing could work in any way. Let's like
100%.
play with this, because
100%.
I think you two are so keen on each other's energy source, right? And you both have a finite amount. You run out. I wonder what it would look like to say something like, hey, I'm noticing your energy is a little low. Wondering if there's anything I can do to support you, to help you remember like some of the things you have to do, like the shoes in my car and stuff like that. Is there anything I could do to help you? Not do her job for her, but is there any way I could support you? That gives her space to say, God, yeah, I'm on my period. I don't think she'd actually mind telling you. I've been exhausted. I am so sorry about that. I'll go get them now. It keeps the communication line open for her to repair. I think the thing that our parents, God bless them, did not do is have pathways to repair. It was like, you're bad.
Yeah.
You've done this wrong. It is not, it is okay for her to feel feelings of guilt. Guilt is when we have done something wrong and we need to make it right. Shame is, I am bad. I am wrong. She's not bad or wrong. She's a menstruating teenager. I'm not better.
Even when she's not menstruating, I don't want to shame her.
Exactly, right?
Because,
shame doesn't help anything.
Yeah, because our parents was like, now we're back in their good graces. Now everything's back to baseline.
Right. If all of a sudden we performed right or we did the thing.
Sometimes with tears in our eyes.
Exactly. And I'm like, it is okay for us to feel remorse for our wrongdoing, for the ball that we dropped. That is guilt over something we erred on. Human beings err. Like, I want her to learn that we can make mistakes. It is the accountability that we take for the mistake. It is the effort that we put in to change our behavior going forward. It is the support that we ask for if we don't have the tools to do the thing. It is, I just view this we have her for 4 more years. I want to tool her so well of it is okay to ask for help. It is actually a wise superpower. And to have a team around you and to be able to say, oh my gosh, my bad, my brain, right? I'm on my period and I cannot, let me go get that right now. I'm so sorry. Yeah. And then to think to self, okay, what is a little hack that I can do to help me remember to do that sooner? And if not, she gets grace, right? Being around people that give grace.
When I'm frustrated, I want to go to curiosity and I don't want to shame her and I don't want to talk down to her. And then I want to keep the line of communication open and I want to know that she can trust me. And then when I do get pissy, it's like it doesn't upset the balance of the house.
Right.
That's what we grew up with.
Yes.
When our parents got angry, it was enormous.
And honey, let me say out loud on this podcast waves that you've done so much better. I remember this day we were leaving the Airbnb, I think where you first met her. We were driving downtown. We were on some road and there was a tight turn and someone was coming at us and the 3 of us were in the car. You might not remember this at all, but you got very angry at the situation, not at either of us. And your anger was so palpable that I thought in my body, I don't know if this is going to work.
Wow.
Because I can feel how dysregulated and fearful she is, and I'm not interested in having that around. And that's unrecognizable. Like first of all, you took accountability for that immediately, but you are not the same person. Like you so know now before you're at that breaking point, and that's what's really cool. I don't see you getting to those points anymore. Maybe you do, and I don't see them, but thank you. I don't want to see them.
Last time I got there, it's when I threw my driver into the tall grass at golf, and then I lost my driver in the tall grass. Yes. And then I looked for it for 20 minutes. It was 96 degrees out. I felt like a fool.
Natural consequences.
Then I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, and I bought another driver. I'm not good at throwing clubs, so maybe I should knock it off.
It's okay. We all do it. We get frustrated. Yeah, I think the difference between guilt and shame is talked about in the book that we're working through right now, and it's Brene Brown's original shame research. And I think it's cool, right, to think like it's okay to feel feelings of guilt for something that we have done wrong, and to have a pathway to repair is really cool. And I want to raise a person who understands the difference and doesn't live in shame. I would say that 80% of my work with folks is unraveling the shame that surrounds their sexual expression. And that's sad.
Okay, baby. Same question to you, checking in. How are we doing physically, spiritually, and most important, sexually?
Your answer was good. Should I just give you that answer
You
back?
could go above
Good.
average if you want to go under me.
Did
Just
I
go
have,
above average.
Did I have a moment, in improv where
You go
you're
like,
always supposed to say yes and you're supposed to like add on, and you're always trained not to just give like a one-word answer. I got a little irritated as your improv partner was like, "That's all I got to work with." Good.
You could go like this. You could go. Yeah, you go like that.
Great. Delicious. When were we talking about this? I have been so turned on recently by your personal growth. There's a moment on the podcast from last time where you're explaining isolation diffusion as a pH scale. And literally watching the tape back, I was like, "Ooh, that girl is fallen. That girl is fallen for her man." You can literally see my face. I'm like, talk to me. Give an analogy. I used it with a client, and it helped them so much. They were like, "Can you send me the pH isolation diffusion thing?" I was like, Trey gets credit. This is all Trey.
Oh, boy.
Trey gets credit for this. It's so perfect. I am literally becoming turned on by the places your mind is going, the expansion, the growth, the post-traumatic growth, the interest with which you are, I don't know. It's not like you're just learning new stuff. You are nerding out over it too. And then we're chatting about it, and yeah. I'm just hopelessly turned on.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's important to me. It's called like sapiosexuality, and I really, that helps me get in a lusty space, feeling stimulated, not just genitally, but in my brain. My brain tickled.
Yeah, me too. Or it's like I'm always trying to lust after you. There's very few things that I'm addicted to. And one of them is you.
Yeah, it's felt playful. It's felt just good. There was a night last week. Do you remember this? You came home from Washington, D.C. You went to D.C. on Saturday. You came back. It was the end of my work day. It had been a long day, yada, yada. And like you jump scared me.
Yes, yeah.
And
she was coming down the stairs, and we don't scare each other very often, especially me, because I freak out. When I get scared, I spaz. Like it goes to frustration and anger. Doesn't go to, oh, that was fun. So I thought the baby was coming down the stairs. It was definitely like her cadence, but it was you. And then I just stuck a zombie arm out, scared the shit out of my delicious bride.
And I was Jelly Bear. I was lowest resiliency, not from a place of pain. It was the end of my work week, and I
rocked your nervous
You were
system.
coming home like an hour earlier too.
Yes.
I had anticipated that I would have like an hour to read and do all of these things, and I love both of you, but then I was sitting in the kitchen and you two were just joking and razzing on each other, which is your favorite thing. And I was like, guys, I'm going to go away. And I just thought, I am so proud of myself. Before Lauren couldn't have done this, I in some way would have thought.
I think you're criticizing both of us too, or maybe we were giving it to you.
Yeah.
What was it?
I was just.
You were like, I don't want this.
Because I was sensitive. What I can start to do is police your jokes to each other. Like,
you can.
Baby, don't say that. And it's silly. You two are very fine.
Yeah,
we're grown
ass. We're grown ass people.
But when I'm low resiliency, I know it's when I do it. I get to this place where I'm like, I need to help them be kinder to each other because that's what I'm wanting in the moment.
And all we want to do when you do that is be mean to you.
Yeah.
You know
which
that
you
backfires.
Two, both of you do. So
we get you good.
It started to happen, and I just thought, I'm going to go away. And I was irritated and I was frustrated at like everything. Not like immensely, just a little bit.
Oh, and kind audience, Jelly Bear, the code word for Jelly Bear is I have low resiliency and I don't have a lot of like energy and I need to be really treated kindly. So if we're to say Jelly Bear to each other, that means like chill. I had to Jelly Bear the baby. She was talking to you and she doesn't even know she does it too, where she just like goes barbs, barbs, where it's like, she's like, what am I doing? It's like,
typical
hey,
teenage behavior.
yeah, it's like, what's the problem? It's like, yo, chill the fuck out. I don't say that, but I say, the baby, the baby,
That's the new nickname.
jelly bear to your mom. So I had to hit her with a jelly bear.
That night or while we were on our vacation?
Yeah, vacation.
Yeah, it was really cool too because
We're just like, be kind.
it's so neat to have. I don't realize how many little things we have as a family unit to protect each other's space and agency and well-being until we're with other people. And I'm like, oh, it's really cute because the kids were like, what's jelly bear? And then we got to explain.
True.
It's when someone is low resourced, when someone is tired or fragile or sensitive. And it's just our code word for, can you treat me softly? Can you be soft with me? Can you be tender with me? And if somebody has already jelly beared, or if someone observes that someone's feeling that way, and that's what you had done. You said, hey, jelly bear with your mom. And it's so beautiful because it is not saying anything other than one of us is observing the other one needs a little tenderness. I'm like, what a cool tool. But yeah, I was jelly bear on that night when you got home, and I just felt irritated and kind of frustrated, and I went to bed and woke up and was still a little irritated, frustrated, and just thought older versions of me would have been so uncomfortable with my own discomfort. And I love this version of me that knows that emotions have a life cycle, that this is going to move in me and through me. This doesn't mean anything. I probably need my weekend. And this is a me thing. I need rest. What do I want? What do I need? And how can I get it? And how can I pursue that and express delight in that? We've been working on this nested attachment model and these hearts things. All Jessica Fern's work, and in the E of the hearts model is express delight. Like, what can I take delight in? And so, yeah, I spent Sunday and Monday like delighting and taking it easy on myself, right? Jelly bearing myself and saying there's nothing wrong with being tired after a work week and knowing you're going into a fun staycation, but there's work to prepare for the staycation. And I think I said that ahead of time to you. Like, I'm anticipating a little bit of resentment because Mondays, as excited as I am to go away, that is usually like my literal solitude day. Sundays tend to be like with family. Mondays I am alone. And yeah, but I just took care of self, and I thought it was just so beautiful. It's my job. It's my job to do that. And I don't know, I just, again, I think you were saying this earlier, I don't know, we could anticipate that as we get more tooled, as we spill everything out on the table, as we learn new things, that it would become easier, second nature really fast. But it's not. You have to like level up with the new information and skills, and then you have to practice them. You have to be like, no. My clients and I talk about this, like building new neural pathways is difficult. Repatterning is difficult. It's one thing to have the head knowledge. It's another thing to embody this new knowledge and say, I'm going to do it. Like, I'm not going to go down an old pathway. I'm not going to overfunction and get resentful and blame. Mine would have been to go to self-blame. We know how I do this, right? This like, I'm failing. No. What if I just use these new tools? And what if I just express delight? And what if I rest hard and tell my people? One of the things we did that made the staycation so good for me, the cheesy thing that I did that we've talked about on this podcast before, of assigning roles. And so when we booked the day, which was only like a week before we did this,
4 days.
4 days before we did this thing.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
we booked
Sunday.
it
Yeah, 4 days before.
I said I would really benefit from if Trey can be director of lodging and transportation, and then best friend, could you be either director of entertainment or director of food services? I don't really have a preference, but I would like to only do one of those. And she was like, I don't really think that's necessary. I think it's gonna be fine, but sure, I will be director of entertainment. What this did for me was take off any of the obligation that I needed to be in charge of anything but food. And it allowed me to zoom, like not stress as much about the preparation, not stress as much about is everybody having a fun time. I took that off my plate. And what's so funny is I don't think anybody noticed the difference except me. But on, I got all the food, and, we always say on here, it doesn't mean that you do it all yourself. I still assigned and got help with certain things. That is fine. I delegated, but I'm the director. So once our beautiful charcuterie counter was set out, I kind of signed off. I knew everybody had food and they could go in and munch it whenever they wanted.
Babe, I noticed. I didn't have to do any of that, pre.
Yeah.
I had to bring a bunch of stuff and kind of take care of me on the day because we came separately. And I noticed because all of that was taken care of. It was so lovely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for doing that, babe.
You're so welcome. I mean, I'm so glad you noticed that part. I don't know if anybody noticed how at rest I was, how in peace I was.
Yeah,
you
you
did?
were reading a book in the pool.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were, you're making margs. You were kind of doing your thing, and you didn't have you weren't running around. It was great.
Older versions of me would have then been like, is everybody what do we need to do? Moving through the experience for everyone. But because it was in best friend's hands.
Yeah.
And you were handling, anything that had to do with the house and lodging. And I knew my next responsibility didn't come until making dinner. It was just lovely. I got to be so much more present, and I didn't overfunction. And it was probably the best little time away I've had in a long time. I'm never going back. I don't care if people think I'm silly. I'm doing the same thing.
Assigned tasks.
Yes.
I'm going to do it for the bros that are coming up.
I love it.
We're doing
Who wants to do these things?
Fantasy football thing. Or I'm going to tell them, bring a snack, bring a protein that you want to share. Bring booze, a snack, and a protein.
That's a great
and then
idea.
we'll put it all out. Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. Just assign different stuff.
It allows people to function within their capacity, to have some choice and some agency, to understand that we don't have to do it all. I think there are certain people who are naturally skilled at certain things, and what ends up happening is they overfunction for everybody. And there's so many reasons why. Maybe they're the oldest child. Maybe they, I don't know, had a job in food services for a long time. But yeah, there have been times before where you've 100% been on food and stuff like that too, because it comes naturally to you to do all that stuff. But it was really nice. And the connection was me using my new tools was really important there, of saying what will make me, it's not what don't you want, it's what do you want instead. And I literally asked myself that on Sunday and was like, oh, okay, I do want to get the food. This is when I want to get the food. This is the time frame I want to tell everybody that they have till. I want to get it on my own. I don't want to delegate it out because it feels really good to have that within my control. And it made it so nice. It really did.
Baby. Good.
Yeah, I felt very at rest and like I did a good job, but I only got to focus on what I needed to.
Nice. Honey.
Yeah. So anyway, how are we emotionally, physically, sexually? Yeah. Connected, attached. We've been really leaning into this term safe haven and secure base. And I think you're both of those things for me. And I just feel good. Feel a little like there's been a leveling up. There's a full moon coming this coming Monday. And that
Cool.
always does something to you. So I'm curious to see kind of what happens. And yeah, really, really thankful. Thankful
Nice.
for you.
Good.
Yeah. Sex has been good. I can't really think of anything fantastic to talk about. So we can wrap it up here. It's been good and connected. Thanks for coming to this cozy episode of the Partnership Podcast. Please remember that these are our opinions and only our opinions. Please take what you like, leave the rest. You have a right to informed decision making. You have a right to disagree with us on any of the stuff you heard here. If you want some tools like the millions of different ones that we talked about today, I would love to work with you. You can go to sexedforyou.com/free consult and request a consult. We can chat for 15 minutes and see if we'd be a good fit. I love working with individuals, partners, polycules, you name it. It is my joy and delight. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.